Welcome back, Summoners, to another ProGuides mid-patch analysis video. My name is Christoph, and in this video I'm going to show you all the strongest champions using fresh statistics to give you the most accurate tier list available. We encourage everyone to comment on our tier list and champion placements and say if you agree or disagree with our opinions on certain champions. A lot has changed since the beginning of patch 9.5, and there's a lot to cover, so let's jump right into it. The top lane tier list for our mid-patch analysis video will have some changes made from the start of patch 9.5. Most of these changes are just small adjustments due to the slight changes in some champion win rates. Firstly, we welcome a new member of our S tier, Sylas. Sylas's full tank W max build was nerfed at the start of patch 9.5, but he's returned to the top lane as a more bursty style champion. He's definitely one of the strongest champions in the game right now, and you can even flex him into the jungle or mid lane as well. It might come as a surprise to you to see Neeko down in our B tier for our mid-patch tier list. Neeko would be placed in our S+ tier if it wasn't for the hotfix nerf done to her on March 11th. Her on-hit DPS style build was nerfed heavily, and the build might not be viable anymore. Her base attack speed was lowered from 3.5% to 1.5% per level, and her AD per level was nerfed from 3 down to 2. Lastly, Neeko's W on-hit damage was lowered from 50 to 170 to 50 to 130. These are very big nerfs and will likely kill the on-hit Neeko build that we all hate playing against. Yasuo, Sion, Singed, and Rumble have all been lowered down to our B tier due to their declining win rates, and Akali was moved up a notch this patch. The buffs made to her at the start of the patch were more impactful than what we predicted, but she is still nowhere near the strength that she had during her prime. Kayle will also be added into our B tier top laners due to her having a pretty low win rate. Kayle's early game is just too weak, and it's very hard for her to survive until her God Mode level 16 power spike. Luckily for us Kayle mains, it's confirmed that she'll be getting buffs in patch 9.6, so make sure to stay tuned for that. For patch 9.5, our analysts recommend you pick up Riven in the top lane. She's one of the strongest champions in the game right now, and also one of the most fun to play. A lot of professional players have been picking her up in competitive matches recently, which goes to show just how strong this champion is. Keep in mind that you might want to play a ton of normal games on her before jumping into ranked, since she is also one of the most difficult champions in the game. If you're interested in playing Riven at a high level, check out our Box Riven guide on ProGuides.com. Do not underestimate this champion's skill cap. Lastly, our unique pick for the top lane in patch 9.5 is Urgot. Urgot used to be one of the most commonly played top laners a few patches ago, but his play rate and win rate have dropped down into the gutters. However, Urgot is making a comeback and is also confirmed to have huge buffs coming next patch. We recommend you try him out in your next few games because he's still quite good in the right hands. Korea's most dominant team, Griffin, are actually prioritizing Urgot in the top lane despite his awful win rate. Try him out and let us know what you think down below. Before we move on to the jungle tier list, we want to announce that we have a brand new Night Blue jungle course available on ProGuides.com. If you're a jungle main, it will help you tremendously. There are a few changes made in our jungle tier list for our mid-patch analysis video. In S tier, we welcome 2 new members who are Jarvan and Vi. Vi's mini rework has definitely brought her back into the meta, and she's dominating the jungle right now. She has one of the highest win rates and pick rates and is almost on par with Rek'Sai this patch. In our A tier, we have a ton of champions, and I mean a ton. Jungle is in a unique spot right now where almost anything half-decent is viable and can be played to great success. Karthus, Kayn, Sejuani, and Hecarim have been dropped down to our A tier due to the S tier champions having a significantly higher win rate than these 4. Our A tier champions are still very good pickups for ranked and will still bring you good results. Skarner's had a few recent buffs made to his kit, and he's also making a good comeback this meta. The changes made to him helped him out a ton, and a lot of pro players have been spamming him in solo queue. Graves and Nunu have also had changes made to the start of this patch, but turns out these changes didn't actually impact their win rates very much. The buffs and nerfs were very small and almost negligible, just like our analysts predicted. For patch 9.5, our analysts recommend you pick up Vi in the jungle. Her kit is really simple and easy to play, but she's also one of the strongest champions in the jungle right now. Her ultimate pretty much guarantees a free kill, so make sure you tilt the enemy mid laner at level 6. You can expect her to be played in LCS this coming week, so make sure to stay alert for that as well. Our unique pick for the jungle in patch 9.5 is Sylas. The buffs made to Sylas at the start of the patch were huge for him, and he is super strong right now. A lot of players will underestimate how much you heal from your W, so they will likely not respect your dueling potential. Try him out in your next normal game and you'll see just how fun it is to use your opponent's ultimate against them. The mid lane tier list for our 9.5 mid-patch analysis video will remain similar to our previous one at the start of the patch. In S tier, we welcome two new members, which are Ahri and Talon. These two champions were always on the brink of making the push to S tier, but have finally done it in patch 9.5. Lissandra and Zoe have been dropped down to our A tier, but are definitely borderline S tier champions. Akali has had several buffs made to her at the start of patch 9.5, but her win rate in the mid lane has barely moved. Instead, she's been finding more success in the top lane as a bruiser with the Conqueror rune. Sylas is by far the best champion to play in the mid lane right now. His damage, healing, and mobility make him the most consistent mid laner in the game. Kayle has been added to our B tier for patch 9.5 due to her early game just being too weak. In a way, she's much like Kassadin, but with a much weaker early game. At level 16, both these champions become godlike and can solo carry any game, but the main difference is Kassadin can act as a hard counter to some AP champions in the early game, while Kayle doesn't really do anything until she reaches her power spikes. Taliyah has also been making a huge comeback right now, and she's been moved up to our A tier for our mid-patch analysis video. Pro players such as Bjergsen have been playing her a lot in solo queue and are finding decent results as well. She's one of the most underrated mid laners right now, so we highly recommend you give her a try. For patch 9.5, our analysts recommend you pick up Ahri in the mid lane. Besides the fact that she has some of the best skins in the game, she's also very powerful in the right hands. Her high burst combined with her mobility make her insanely frustrating to play against. We don't recommend you jump into a ranked game with her right away because she isn't an easy champion to play. Try her out in a few normal games first and get used to her kit before playing her in ranked. Our unique pick for the mid lane for patch 9.5 is Morgana. Although she is more traditionally played as a support, she's been seeing a lot more play in the mid lane ever since her rework. Also, she acts as a great counter to a lot of our S-tier champions such as LeBlanc and Sylas, so she's perfect for the meta right now. Morgana is a champion with a low skill cap, so it only takes 2 or 3 games before you really start to get used to her playstyle, so try her out in your next few games. The ADC tier list for our mid-patch analysis video remains almost the same as our previous one at the start of the patch. There are only 2 notable changes in this tier list, which are Jinx being moved up to our S tier and Neeko being added to our B tier. Jinx has always been on the brink of making the push to S tier and has finally done it in patch 9.5. She has the second highest win rate of all ADCs currently and holds a solid stance in the meta. Her hyper carry playstyle is perfect for those mid to late game teamfights, and she can easily 1v5 a game. Neeko again would have been in our S+ tier for ADCs this patch if it wasn't for the hotfix nerf done to her earlier this week. Due to the heavy nerfs on her on-hit playstyle, she is only going to be in our B tier for our mid-patch analysis video. The buffs made to Jhin at the start of the patch are really helping him out, and he's finally managing to hold a sweet spot in the meta at a 51% win rate. The Q buffs are feeling really good in the game, and a lot of Jhin mains are satisfied with this buff. For patch 9.5, our analysts recommend you pick up Jhin in the bottom lane. He has a relatively low play rate right now, but is one of the most underrated champions in the bot lane. He can dish out tons of damage once he gets a few items, especially due to the Q buffs earlier this patch. Try him out in your next few games and let us know how that goes. A unique pick for the bottom lane is Kayle. Although her early game is horrifically weak, she can solo carry a game when she reaches her 16 power spike. Just make sure your support can hold your hand throughout the early game so you can eventually reach that godlike power spike in the late game. We don't recommend trying this out in ranked, but it can be fun for your normal games. Our support tier list for our mid-patch video has a few changes made to our S tier. In S tier, we have Neeko, Morgana, Thresh, Soraka, and Nami. The buff made to Neeko's E at the start of the patch has impacted her win rate in support the most, especially due to her on-hit style being hard nerfed. She's still an S tier support even after the hotfix, so make sure to try her out. Morgana has also been seeing a lot of play as a support ever since her rework and holds the second highest win rate on support. Morgana was already a great support before her rework, but now she's even better. Our analysts recommend you try out Galio support this patch. He's been seeing a lot of play in LCK, LCS, and LEC, so he's definitely a strong support. That's it for our mid-patch analysis video for 9.5. If you enjoyed watching this video, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel to be notified for the next video. If you guys are interested in getting a higher rank this season in League of Legends, please check out ProGuides.com, where we have all the best courses with your favorite pro players. Thanks for watching, good luck in your next games, and we'll see you guys on the Rift.